The lottery ticket sat in my shirt pocket, pressed against my chest like a ticking time bomb. $100 million. $100 million. I'd checked the numbers 17 times on 3 different websites before I finally believed it was real. My hands were shaking so badly I could barely hold my phone as I scooped up our 4-year-old daughter Emma from her playroom. "Daddy, where are we going?" Emma asked, clutching her stuffed rabbit as I buckled her into her car seat. "We're going to see Mommy at work, sweetheart," I said, trying to keep my voice steady despite the adrenaline coursing through my veins. "Daddy has some very good news to tell her." I'm Nathan Pierce. I'm 34 years old, and up until that Tuesday afternoon, I thought I had a pretty good handle on my life. I worked as an accountant for a mid-sized firm in Denver, pulling in a decent salary that kept us comfortable in our 3-bedroom house in the suburbs. My wife Olivia was a senior marketing executive at Brennan Digital Solutions, making twice what I did and climbing the corporate ladder with the kind of ambition that both impressed and sometimes intimidated me. We'd been married for 6 years. Met at a mutual friend's wedding where she'd caught the bouquet and I'd caught her eye. She was beautiful, driven, always impeccably dressed even on casual Sundays. Sometimes I wondered what she saw in a numbers guy like me, but she always said I grounded her, kept her centered when work got crazy. The lottery ticket had been an impulse buy. I never played the lottery, thought it was a waste of money, but the jackpot had hit a record $180 million, and the gas station clerk had joked that someone had to win eventually. So I'd thrown down $2, picked 6 random numbers, and completely forgot about it until I saw the winning numbers flash across the news that morning. Now I was driving through downtown Denver with life-changing money in my pocket, and my daughter singing nursery rhymes in the back seat, completely oblivious to the fact that our lives would never be the same again. Brennan Digital Solutions occupied the top 3 floors of the Skyline Tower, all glass and steel and expensive furniture that screamed success. I'd been there maybe 5 times in the 3 years Olivia had worked there, usually for company parties where I'd make awkward small talk with her colleagues while trying not to spill wine on the white carpets. The elevator ride to the 15th floor felt like it took forever. Emma was getting restless, squirming in my arms and asking when she could see Mommy. My heart was hammering so hard I could hear it in my ears. This was it, the moment that would change everything. No more worrying about mortgage payments or whether we could afford to send Emma to private school. No more watching Olivia stress over quarterly reports or missing family dinners because of late meetings. The elevator doors opened and I stepped into the reception area of Olivia's floor, the casauts. Space was all modern minimalism, chrome and glass and abstract art that probably cost more than my car. Olivia's secretary, a woman named Stephanie, who I'd met a handful of times, looked up from her desk with surprise. "Nathan," she said, standing quickly. Too quickly. There was something in her expression that made my stomach tighten. Panic, maybe, or fear. "I didn't know you were coming by today." "Surprise visit," I said, trying to sound casual despite Emma's weight in my arms and the lottery ticket burning a hole in my pocket. "Is Olivia in? I have some incredible news." Stephanie positioned herself between me and Olivia's office door. "Actually, she's in a meeting right now, a very important meeting. Maybe you could come back later or I could have her call you." I frowned. Something about Stephanie's body language was wrong. She was blocking the door like a bouncer at a club, her hands fidgeting with the papers on her desk, her eyes darting nervously between me and the closed office door behind her. That's when I heard it. A sound that made my blood run cold. A woman's laugh, breathy and intimate, followed by a deeper male voice saying something I couldn't quite make out. Then silence. Then another sound, unmistakable in its meaning even through the thick office door. "Nathan," Stephanie said quickly, her face flushing red. "Maybe you should take Emma downstairs to the coffee shop. I can call Olivia and tell her you're here." But I was already moving past her, Emma still in my arms, my hand reaching for the door handle. Stephanie grabbed my arm, actually physically tried to stop me, but I shrugged her off. "Nathan, don't," Stephanie pleaded, genuine distress in her voice. "Please, just think about Emma." I looked down at my daughter, who was watching the exchange with confused eyes. For a split second, I hesitated. Then I heard another sound from behind that door, and something inside me snapped. I turned the handle. The door was unlocked. The scene that greeted me will be burned into my memory for the rest of my life. Olivia's office was spacious, with floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking downtown Denver. Her desk was pushed against the far wall, and on the leather couch that had cost $4,000 of company money, my wife was with another man. They were partially clothed, tangled together in a way that left no room for innocent explanations. The man I recognized immediately. Derek Hammond, the company's CEO. Married, father of 3, his family photos splashed across the company website like badges of honor. Time seemed to stop. Emma made a small, confused noise. Derek and Olivia sprang apart, scrambling for clothing with faces that went from pleasure to horror in the space of a heartbeat. "Nathan?" Olivia gasped, pulling her blouse closed with trembling hands. "Oh God, Nathan, this isn't what?" My voice came out surprisingly calm, clinical even, like I was discussing a spreadsheet discrepancy instead of watching my marriage explode in real time. "Isn't what it looks like? Because it looks like you're sleeping with your boss." If this story resonates with you, if you want to hear how this impossible situation unfolds, please hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell. Leave a comment below sharing your thoughts, and don't forget to like this video. Your support helps me continue sharing these real-life stories that need to be heard. Now, let's continue. Derek was pulling on his shirt, his face red but his expression already shifting from shame to damage control. This was a man who'd built a $50 million company through calculated risks and strategic thinking. Even caught in the act, he was assessing angles. "Nathan, let's all calm down and discuss this rationally," Derek said, his voice taking on that smooth boardroom tone. "This is a complicated situation." "Complicated," I repeated, the word tasting like ash in my mouth. I turned to Stephanie, who was standing in the doorway looking like she wanted to sink through the floor. "How long have you known?" She couldn't meet my eyes. "Nathan, I'm so sorry. I tried to stop you." "How long?" I demanded. 6 months, she whispered. "They've been meeting here during lunch breaks and after hours. I'm sorry, I wanted to tell you, but it wasn't my place." 6 months, half a year of lies, half a year of Olivia coming home late from work meetings that weren't really work meetings, half a year of her kissing me goodnight with the same mouth that had been kissing him. Emma started crying, sensing the tension even if she didn't understand it. The sound of my daughter's tears cut through my shock like a knife. "I'm taking Emma home," I said, my voice hollow. "We'll talk about this later." "Nathan, please," Olivia said, now fully dressed but disheveled, her makeup smeared, her hair a mess. "Let me explain. It's not what you think." "Not what I think," I said slowly. "Olivia, I literally watched you with him. There's no version of reality where this is anything other than what it is." Derek stepped forward, trying to assert some kind of authority. "Nathan, I understand you're upset, but let's not make this harder than it needs to be. Olivia and I care about each other. This isn't some meaningless affair." I stared at him. This man who had everything: money, power, a family of his own, and apparently thought he deserved my wife too. "You care about each other," I repeated. "Does your wife know how much you care? Do your 3 kids know Daddy cares about his employee?" Derek's jaw tightened. "That's my private business." "Not anymore," I said. I adjusted Emma in my arms, her face buried against my shoulder, her small body shaking with sobs. "I'm going to make sure everyone knows exactly what kind of man you are." Olivia grabbed my arm as I turned to leave. "Nathan, please, just let me talk to you. Just give me 5 minutes to explain." I looked down at her hand on my arm, remembering when that touch used to comfort me, used to mean safety and home. Now it just made my skin crawl. 6 years, Olivia," I said quietly. 6 years of marriage. We have a daughter together, and you threw it all away for him?" "It's not that simple," she said, tears streaming down her face. "You don't understand the pressure I've been under, the stress of this job. Derek understands me in ways you never could." The words hit like physical blows. "I never could understand you? I've spent 6 years trying to understand you, supporting your career, taking care of Emma when you worked late, being patient when you were too stressed for family dinners, and this is what I get?" "Nathan, you're a good man," Olivia said, and somehow that made it worse. "You're stable and reliable and safe, but I need more than that. I need someone who challenges me, who operates at my level." "Your level," I repeated. The lottery ticket in my pocket suddenly felt heavier. I almost laughed at the irony. I walked out of that office without another word. Emma crying against my shoulder. Stephanie murmuring apologies I didn't acknowledge. The elevator ride down felt longer than the ride up, each floor a reminder of how far I'd fallen in the space of 15 minutes. In the parking garage, I buckled Emma into her car seat and sat in the driver's seat, staring at nothing, trying to process what had just happened. My phone buzzed. A text from Olivia. "Nathan, please don't do anything rash. We need to talk about this like adults. Think about Emma." Think about Emma. She'd been sleeping with her boss for 6 months and now she wanted me to think about Emma. I pulled out the lottery ticket and stared at it. $100 million. This morning, this piece of paper represented a dream come true. Now it felt like a sick joke. I'd won more money than I could spend in 3 lifetimes, but I'd lost the thing I thought mattered most. Or had I? Sitting there in my car, my daughter's hiccuping sobs gradually quieting in the back seat, I started thinking clearly for the first time since opening that office door. Olivia had betrayed me, yes, but she'd also shown me exactly who she was. And maybe, just maybe, the timing of discovering both things on the same day wasn't a curse. Maybe it was an opportunity. I started the car and drove home, my mind already working through possibilities. By the time I pulled into our driveway, I'd made several decisions. The first was that I wouldn't tell Olivia about the lottery ticket. Not yet. Not until I understood exactly what I was dealing with. The second decision was that I needed to know more. How long had this really been going on? Was Derek the only one? What was Olivia's endgame? And the third decision was that I needed help. Professional help. I put Emma down for a nap, then called my older brother Marcus, who worked as a private investigator in Boulder. We'd never been particularly close. He was 7 years older, and had always been more street smart than book smart. But if anyone could help me navigate this situation, it was him. "Nathan," Marcus answered on the second ring. "What's wrong? You sound weird." "Can you come over? I need your help with something." "Right now? I'm working a case." "Marcus, I just caught my wife cheating on me with her boss. I need your professional services." The line went quiet for a moment. "I'll be there in 40 minutes. While I waited for Marcus, I did something I'd never done before. I went through Olivia's things. Her laptop was password protected, but I knew her passwords. She used the same one for everything, Emma's birthday, plus her mother's maiden name. It took me 3 minutes to access her email. What I found there made my stomach turn. The emails between Olivia and Derek went back 8 months, not 6. They'd started professionally enough, work discussions, strategy meetings, collaboration on projects. But around the 6-month mark, the tone changed. Derek had sent her a message late one night. "Can't stop thinking about our meeting today. You're incredible." Olivia's response: "You're not so bad yourself. Too bad we can't explore this properly." Derek: "Who says we can't?" And from there, it spiraled. Lunch meetings at hotels, afternoon rendezvous in his office, weekend conferences that were really just cover stories for getaways. They'd been to San Francisco together, to Seattle, to Portland. All under the guise of business trips, all paid for by the company. But what really got me were the emails about me. Derek: "Have you thought about what happens next with your husband?" Olivia: "I'm not ready to leave yet. Nathan's useful. He takes care of Emma, handles the house, makes my life easier. Plus, divorce would be expensive and complicated." Derek: "So, what are we doing here?" Olivia: "Enjoying ourselves. You're married too, remember? Neither of us is leaving our situations right now. This is just about us having something for ourselves." I stared at that email for a long time. Nathan's useful. 6 years of marriage, and that's what I'd become to her. A useful household manager who made her life easier while she pursued what she really wanted. Marcus arrived to find me sitting at the kitchen table, Olivia's laptop open, my face probably showing everything I was feeling. "Jesus, Nathan," Marcus said, taking one look at me. "You look like hell." "My wife's been cheating on me for 8 months, I said flatly. She's been traveling with him on company time, sleeping with him in her office, and according to her emails, I'm just useful because I take care of Emma and the house. Marcus sat down across from me, his expression hardening. My brother had been through his own divorce 5 years ago, nasty and expensive, and he had zero tolerance for cheaters. "Show me everything," he said. We spent the next 2 hours going through Olivia's digital life. Marcus was thorough, methodical. showing me how to preserve evidence, how to document everything. He found text messages I'd missed, photos she'd deleted but were still in her cloud backup, credit card statements showing purchases at expensive hotels. "This Derek guy," Marcus said, studying a photo of him from the company website. "He's loaded, right? The company's worth about $50 million. He probably makes close to $2 million a year." Marcus whistled. "And Olivia makes what, $150K? Around that." "So she's trading up," Marcus said. "Or thinks she is. Guy like that, married with kids, he's not leaving his wife for your wife. This is just an ego thing for him." "That's what the emails suggest," I said. "They've talked about it. He's made it clear he's not divorcing." "But Olivia keeps hoping he will," Marcus said, reading between the lines. "Classic side piece syndrome. She thinks she's special, that she'll be the one he chooses." I felt sick. What do I do? Marcus leaned back in his chair, thinking. "First thing, you secure your assets. Joint accounts, retirement funds, anything she has access to. You open your own account, transfer your share. Do it today, before she realizes you're moving against her. She gets home in a few hours. Then we work fast. Second thing, you don't tell her you know everything. She thinks you just saw a moment, doesn't know you've got 8 months of evidence. Let her believe you're the hurt husband who might forgive. Keep her comfortable while we build your case." "That feels dishonest," I said, then realized how stupid that sounded given the circumstances. Marcus smiled grimly. "Brother, she threw dishonest out the window months ago. You're just protecting yourself. Speaking of which, have you thought about custody? Emma's 4. Colorado courts favor shared custody, but with evidence of infidelity and her having an affair at work, traveling with her boss instead of being home with her daughter, you've got a solid case for primary custody." Primary custody? The thought of Emma only seeing her mother on weekends hurt, but the alternative, splitting time equally with a woman who'd just called me useful, hurt worse. "Do it," I said. "Whatever you need to do, help me protect Emma and protect myself." "That's what I wanted to hear," Marcus said. "Now, is there anything else I should know? Any complications?" I thought about the lottery ticket, still in my shirt pocket. $100 million that Olivia didn't know about. Money that, if we were still married when I claimed it, would be considered marital property. "There's one thing," I said slowly, "but you have to swear you won't tell anyone." Marcus raised an eyebrow. "I'm your brother and your PI. Attorney-client privilege applies here. What is it?" I pulled out the lottery ticket and slid it across the table. Marcus stared at it, then at me, then back at the ticket. "Is this what I think it is? I won the Powerball this morning. $100 million. "Holy shit," Marcus breathed. "Nathan, do you understand what this means?" "It means if I don't file for divorce before I claim this ticket, Olivia gets half." "It means more than that," Marcus said, his PI instincts kicking in. "It means you have leverage. It means you can disappear if you need to. It means Emma's future is secure no matter what happens. But yeah, it also means you need to move fast." "How fast?" "You've got 180 days to claim a lottery prize in Colorado. But the moment you claim it, it becomes public record. Your name, your photo, the amount. Everyone will know, including Olivia." I felt my chest tighten. "So I have to choose. Claim the money and risk her finding out before the divorce is final, or wait until after the divorce, but risk the ticket expiring or something happening to it." "There's a third option," Marcus said carefully. "You could set up a legal trust, claim the ticket through the trust, and keep your identity partially protected. It's not foolproof, but it buys you time. And in that time, we expedite the divorce." "How fast can we get divorced?" "With evidence this solid? If we can prove she's been traveling with Derek using marital funds, having an affair in her workplace, and she doesn't fight it, we could have preliminary separation agreements in place within a month. Full divorce finalized in 3 to 4 months. And the lottery ticket? You wait. You hide it somewhere safe, you don't tell anyone else, and you wait until the divorce is final. Then you claim it, and you disappear. Take Emma, and start a new life somewhere else if you want." It seemed almost too simple, but my mind was already racing with possibilities. A new life, a fresh start. Emma growing up without the toxicity of parents who destroyed each other. "Help me," I said to Marcus. Help me do this right. That's why I'm here, brother. That's why I'm here. Olivia came home at 7 that evening, her face carefully composed into an expression of concern. She found me in the living room, Emma asleep on my lap while I stared at the television without really seeing it. "Nathan," she said softly, setting down her briefcase. "Can we talk?" "Emma's sleeping. Keep your voice down." She sat on the chair across from me, and I studied her with new eyes. She'd fixed her makeup, changed her clothes, probably practiced her apology in the car on the way home. She looked perfect, polished, every inch the successful executive, and completely fake. "I'm so sorry," Olivia began. "What you saw today, it was a mistake. A terrible mistake that I've been making for a while now, but it ends today." "How long?" I asked, even though I already knew. "Does it matter?" "It matters to me," she sighed. "A few months, maybe 6. Nathan, I never meant to hurt you. It just happened. Derek and I work closely together. We have this connection, and it just spiraled out of control." "It just happened," I repeated. "Like accidentally ordering the wrong coffee. Oops, accidentally had an affair with my boss for 6 months." "Don't be cruel," Olivia said. "I know I messed up, but we can work through this. Couples survive infidelity all the time. We can go to counseling, rebuild trust." I looked at my wife, at this woman I'd spent 6 years building a life with, and felt nothing but cold calculation. She wanted me to forgive her so she could keep her comfortable life while continuing to see Derek on the side. She thought I was useful, manageable, controllable. "You're right," I said slowly. "We should try counseling. For Emma's sake, we should at least try." Relief flooded Olivia's face. "Really? Nathan, thank you. I promise I'll end things with Derek. It's over. You're the one I want to be with." "Liar." The word screamed in my head, but I kept my face neutral. "We need some ground rules while we work on this." "Of course. Anything. First, you need to be transparent with me. Phone, email, everything. If we're rebuilding trust, I need to be able to verify you're being honest." Olivia hesitated just for a second, and I knew she had no intention of actually following through. "Okay, that's fair. Second, no more late nights at the office unless I verify it's actually work. No more business trips unless I can confirm them with your assistant." "Nathan, that's going to make my job difficult." "Your job?" I said, letting some real anger show. "Olivia, your job is where you've been cheating on me. Your job is the problem. So either you make accommodations or we don't fix this." "Fine," she said tightly. "I'll work from home more." "Third," I continued, "we need to separate our finances, just temporarily, while we work through this. I think it's healthier if we have some financial independence during counseling." Now Olivia looked genuinely worried. "Why would we need to do that?" "Because I need to know you're committed to working on us, not just staying for financial security. Plus, it'll make me feel better knowing I have some control over my own money while we work through this betrayal." It was a gamble. If Olivia agreed too easily, it meant she was already planning to leave once she secured her position with Derek. If she fought it, it meant she needed access to marital assets. She fought it. "Nathan, that seems extreme. We've always shared everything. That's what marriage is." "And having an affair with your boss? What's that?" Her face flushed. "That's not fair." "Nothing about this is fair, Olivia. But this is what I need to feel safe moving forward. So either you agree or we skip counseling and go straight to lawyers." The threat hung in the air between us. Finally, Olivia nodded. "Okay, if that's what you need, we'll separate the finances temporarily, just while we're in counseling." "I'll set it up tomorrow," I said. "Now I'm going to put Emma to bed." I carried our sleeping daughter upstairs, away from the woman who'd betrayed us both, and tried not to think about how good it felt to lie to Olivia the same way she'd been lying to me. The next morning, while Olivia was at work, I met with Marcus and a lawyer he recommended, Patricia Brennan, who specialized in high-asset divorces and had a reputation for being absolutely ruthless in court. "Let me make sure I understand," Patricia said, reviewing the evidence Marcus had compiled. "Your wife has been having an affair with her boss for 8 months. She's used marital funds to travel with him. She's conducted the affair in her workplace, which creates liability for the company. And you have comprehensive documentation of all of it." "Yes," I confirmed. "And you're sitting on a $100 million lottery ticket that she doesn't know about." Also, yes. Patricia smiled. It wasn't a pleasant smile. Mr. Pierce, this is the easiest case I've handled in years. We're going to destroy her. I don't want to destroy her, I said. I just want to protect Emma and make sure I'm not taken advantage of. Same thing, Patricia said. Now here's what we're going to do. First, we file for legal separation on grounds of adultery. Colorado is a no-fault divorce state, but adultery still matters for property division and custody. Second, we request primary custody of Emma based on Olivia's documented pattern of prioritizing her affair over family. Third, we freeze all joint assets pending resolution. Fourth, we subpoena Derek Hammond's employment records to prove the affair took place on company time using company resources. Won't that get Olivia fired? I asked. Probably. Sleeping with your boss is generally frowned upon in corporate America, especially when it involves company resources. But that's her problem, not yours. Fifth, and this is crucial, we make sure the divorce is finalized before you claim that lottery ticket. Once the divorce is final, that money is yours alone. How long? With evidence this solid, and if Olivia doesn't contest anything, we can have a separation agreement in 30 days and a final divorce in 90. If she fights, it could take 6 months. She'll fight, I said. Once she realizes she's losing, she'll fight. Then we make the cost of fighting higher than the cost of accepting our terms, Patricia said. We threaten to expose Derek publicly, to sue the company for creating a hostile work environment, to make this so ugly that Olivia's reputation and career are completely destroyed. Then we offer her a settlement that looks generous but is actually minimal. She takes it, we finalize quickly, and you move on with your daughter and your fortune. It was cold, calculating, and exactly what I needed. Do it, I said. The next month was the strangest of my life. During the day, I played the role of forgiving husband, going to marriage counseling sessions with Olivia where she performed remorse, and I performed forgiveness. At night, I met with Marcus and Patricia, building our case, documenting every lie, every late night Olivia claimed was work but was actually Derek. She thought she was managing me, keeping me comfortable while she figured out her next move. She had no idea I was 3 steps ahead. The counseling sessions were particularly surreal. Our therapist, Dr. Reynolds, was a kind woman who genuinely wanted to help couples heal. She had no idea she was being used as cover for my exit strategy. Nathan, how are you feeling about the progress you two have made? Dr. Reynolds asked during our 3rd session. I glanced at Olivia, who was sitting close to me, her hand on my knee in a show of unity. I think we're making progress. Olivia's been more open, more present. I appreciate the effort she's putting in. Olivia squeezed my knee. I want this to work. I made a horrible mistake, but Nathan is the father of my child. He's my partner. I don't want to lose that. More lies. That morning, Marcus had sent me screenshots of text messages between Olivia and Derek from the previous night. They were still seeing each other, just being more careful about it. Meeting at a hotel across town, using burner phones, thinking they were clever. They weren't clever. They were predictable. After the counseling session, Olivia kissed my cheek and said she needed to go back to the office for a few hours. Important client meeting, she explained. But I'll be home for dinner, I promise. I'll make Emma's favorite, I said. Spaghetti and meatballs. She smiled, and for just a moment I saw a flicker of what might have been genuine affection. Or maybe guilt. Hard to tell the difference anymore. You're a good man, Nathan, she said. I don't deserve you. The only true thing she'd said in weeks. After she left, I drove to Patricia's office where Marcus was waiting with the final compiled evidence. We're ready, Patricia announced. 300 pages of documentation, emails, text messages, credit card statements, hotel records, witness testimony from Stephanie confirming the affair. And the piece de resistance. She pulled up a video on her laptop. Security footage from the parking garage at Olivia's office building, showing her and Derek kissing beside his car, his hands in places that left no room for interpretation. Date stamped, crystal clear, absolutely damning. Where did you get that? I asked. Marcus grinned. The security company that monitors the building owes me a favor. Turns out Derek's been sloppy. There are dozens of videos like this going back months. Is it legal to use this in court? Semi-public space, no expectation of privacy, Patricia said. It's admissible, and it's devastating. No judge will look at this and give Olivia anything close to 50-50 custody. I stared at the video of my wife betraying our family in high definition and felt nothing but cold satisfaction. File the papers, I said. Tomorrow, I want her served at work. Patricia raised an eyebrow. At work? That's bold. It'll be humiliating. She humiliated me in that office. Turnabout is fair play. The next day, a process server walked into Brennan Digital Solutions at 2 in the afternoon, right in the middle of the open office where everyone could see, and handed Olivia divorce papers. I know this because Marcus had someone recording it. Olivia's face went from confusion to shock to pure rage in the span of seconds. She tried to maintain composure, tried to take the papers calmly, but her hands were shaking. Everyone in the office was watching, including Derek, who was standing in his office doorway, his face pale. She called me immediately. I let it go to voicemail. She called 7 more times. I ignored them all. Finally, she texted, "What the hell are you doing? We're in counseling. We're working on things." I responded simply, "I know about Derek. I know about everything. You should read the papers carefully, especially the part about the parking garage footage." 3 dots appeared, disappeared, appeared again. Then nothing. That evening, Olivia came home like a hurricane. She slammed through the door, threw her briefcase against the wall, and found me in the kitchen making dinner for Emma. "You bastard," she hissed, keeping her voice low enough that Emma wouldn't hear from the playroom. "You've been planning this the whole time." "Yes," I said calmly, stirring pasta sauce. "While you were lying in counseling, I was building a case. While you were still sleeping with Derek, I was documenting it. You played me for a fool, Olivia. I just returned the favor." "That footage is illegal. My lawyer will get it thrown out." "Your lawyer is going to tell you the same thing mine told me. It's admissible, it's devastating, and combined with everything else we have, you're going to lose. Primary custody, most of the assets, your reputation, all of it." Her face crumpled. Real tears this time, not the manufactured ones from counseling. "Nathan, please, think about Emma. She needs her mother. She needs a mother who puts her first. You've been too busy with Derek to do that." "That's not fair. I love Emma." "Then you should have thought about her before you spent 8 months betraying her father." Olivia sank into a chair, crying for real now. "What do you want? What will it take to make this go away?" And there it was, the negotiation she'd been building toward from the moment she got served. She thought she could buy her way out, make a deal, salvage something from the wreckage. "I want primary custody of Emma. You get supervised visitation until you prove you can be stable. I want the house. You can have your car and your personal belongings. We split the retirement accounts based on what we each contributed. And I want you to sign an agreement that you'll never contest any of this." "That's everything," she whispered. "You're taking everything." "No," I said. "I'm taking what I'm entitled to. You took everything when you decided Derek was more important than our family. I can't afford a lawyer to fight this." "Then don't fight. Sign the agreement Patricia sent you. Make this easy for both of us. For Emma." She looked up at me with red-rimmed eyes. "Did you ever love me?" The question caught me off guard. "Yes, I loved you completely. I would have done anything for you. But you threw that away." "I'm sorry," she said. "I know you don't believe me, but I really am sorry." "I believe you're sorry you got caught," I said. "That's different." We stood there in my kitchen, the pasta sauce bubbling on the stove, our daughter playing with blocks in the next room, and the marriage we'd built turning to ash between us. "I'll sign," Olivia finally said, "but I want one thing. I want to tell Emma myself. I don't want her hearing about this from lawyers or judges." It was a small ask, and probably the right thing to do. "Fine, but I'm there when you tell her, and you keep it simple. Age appropriate." She nodded, wiping her eyes. "What happens to Derek?" "That's between him and his wife. Though I imagine when the company board sees the evidence of him conducting an affair with a subordinate using company resources, his career is probably over." "You're destroying both of us." "No," I corrected. "You destroyed yourselves. I'm just making sure the truth comes out." The divorce was finalized 87 days after Olivia was served. She signed everything without contesting, probably because her lawyer told her she'd lose worse if she fought. Derek Hammond was fired from Brennan Digital Solutions 3 weeks into the process, after the company's board reviewed the evidence we'd provided. His wife filed for divorce 2 days after that. Olivia moved into a 1-bedroom apartment across town. She got Emma every other weekend and 1 evening a week, supervised by a court-appointed monitor for the first 3 months. It killed her. I could see it every time she dropped Emma off, but she'd made her choices. I waited until the divorce was completely final, all papers signed, all settlements distributed, before I did anything about the lottery ticket. On day 91 of my new life, I walked into the Colorado Lottery office with Marcus, Patricia, and a team of financial advisors they'd assembled. I claimed my $100 million through a legal trust that kept my name mostly out of the public eye. Mostly because word still got out. It always does. Within 2 weeks, my phone was ringing off the hook with distant relatives I'd never met, investment opportunities that sounded too good to be true, and reporters wanting to interview the man who'd won the lottery during a divorce. I ignored them all. Olivia found out through the news. She called me, her voice shaking with barely contained rage. "You won the lottery? When?" "The day I caught you with Derek," I said simply. "The day our marriage ended." "And you didn't tell me? Nathan, that's marital property. I'm entitled to half." "No, actually, you're not. I won it the day I discovered your affair. I filed for divorce within 30 days. And most importantly, the divorce was finalized before I claimed it. My lawyers made very sure of that." The silence on the other end was deafening. Then, "You planned this. You knew about the money the whole time and you let me sign those papers. I protected my assets and my daughter. Same thing you were trying to do with Derek, except I was smarter about it. I could sue. I could take you to court." "You could try," I said, "but you signed an agreement not to contest the divorce settlement. You'd be in breach of contract. Plus, my lawyers are much better than yours. You'd lose, and it would cost you everything you have left." Another long silence. "I hope you're happy with your money, Nathan. I hope it keeps you warm at night." "It's not about the money," I said. "It never was. It was about protecting Emma and making sure she grows up knowing her father fought for her." I hung up before she could respond. 3 months later, Emma and I moved to a beautiful house in Boulder, close to Marcus and his new girlfriend. The house had 5 bedrooms, a huge backyard with a swing set, and enough space for Emma to grow up safe and happy. I quit my accounting job and started a nonprofit that helped families going through difficult divorces, especially fathers fighting for custody. I used my story, edited to remove the lottery win, to show that men could protect their children and rebuild their lives after betrayal. Emma adjusted better than I'd hoped. She saw her mother regularly, and Olivia, to her credit, worked hard to be present during their time together. She got therapy, cleaned up her life, and slowly proved she could be a good mother, even if she'd been a terrible wife. Derek Hammond wasn't so lucky. His career never recovered. Last I heard, he was managing a small marketing firm in Des Moines, divorced, paying massive child support to his ex-wife, his reputation in the industry completely destroyed. Sometimes I think about that day, standing in Olivia's office with Emma in my arms and a lottery ticket in my pocket. How differently things could have gone if I'd reacted emotionally instead of strategically. If I'd confronted Olivia immediately instead of playing the long game. If I'd let anger drive my decisions instead of careful planning. But I didn't. I stayed calm. I gathered evidence. I protected what mattered. My daughter and my future. And in the end, I didn't just survive my wife's betrayal. I won. The lottery ticket was the catalyst, sure, but the real prize wasn't the $100 million. It was discovering I had the strength to walk away from someone who didn't value me. It was learning that sometimes the best revenge isn't revenge at all. It's just living well and protecting the people who deserve protection. Emma's 7 now. She doesn't remember much about that day in her mother's office, which is probably for the best. What she does remember is that her daddy fought for her, that when everything fell apart, I kept her safe. And that's worth more than any lottery jackpot. 6 months ago, I ran into Derek at a coffee shop. He was alone, looked older than his years, tired. He saw me and froze, probably expecting confrontation. Instead, I just nodded and walked past. He wasn't worth my energy anymore. Neither was Olivia, really. They were chapters in my life that had ended, lessons learned about trust and betrayal, and the importance of protecting yourself. My life now is simple. I wake up every morning to Emma jumping on my bed. I volunteer at the nonprofit 3 days a week. I've started dating again. Nothing serious yet, but I'm open to possibilities. I travel with Emma during her school breaks. I've made peace with my past and embraced my future. The money helps, obviously. I'd be lying if I said it didn't. But it's not what saved me. What saved me was refusing to be a victim. What saved me was choosing to fight smart instead of fighting angry. What saved me was understanding that sometimes the universe gives you exactly what you need, exactly when you need it, even if it doesn't look like a gift at first. That lottery ticket in my pocket while I watched my marriage explode felt like cosmic irony. But looking back, it was perfect timing. It gave me the resources to protect my daughter and rebuild my life. It gave me the freedom to walk away without financial fear. It gave me the power to say no to someone who wanted to use me. And most importantly, it taught me that winning isn't about having the most money or the perfect revenge. Winning is about knowing your worth, protecting what matters, and having the courage to walk away from people who don't value you. I won the lottery twice that day, once on paper with numbers on a ticket, and once in life, by discovering what I was really made of when everything fell apart. Emma's calling me now, something about a school project on butterflies that requires immediate attention. I close my laptop and head to her room, leaving this story behind where it belongs, in the past. Because the future is bright, boundless, and entirely ours to build. And that's the biggest jackpot of all. If this story moved you or made you think differently about betrayal, revenge, and redemption, please share it with someone who might need to hear it. Leave a comment below about how you'd handle a similar situation. Would you plan strategically like I did, or react emotionally? And don't forget to subscribe to hear more stories about ordinary people facing extraordinary challenges and coming out stronger on the other side. Thank you for listening to my story.